And it's an honor and privilege to welcome and introduce Hemant Mathur, Deputy General Manager, Product Marketing, ICS Tata Tele Business Services. Hemant, over to you.
Hi, a very warm welcome to all of you to this session on Bouncing Back with Technology. My name is Hemant Mathur, and I am part of the product team with Tata Tele Business Services. In today's session, we will talk a bit about applications and a bit about cybersecurity. So, when any customer connect happens, it can happen through a website or through telephone, through an email or face-to-face meetings, which are kind of not happening as much these days. But these are various ways how any organization connect to its prospects, to its stakeholders. If you break that into two, then on one side, we have telecom access, and on the other side, we have application. So telecom access, to kind of give an example what we are doing currently, I'm using telecom access and application both. Telecom access is the 4G, LTE, ILL broadband connection that I'm using to latch on to this application, and you are doing the same. When we talk about the telecom applications, then it can be on the voice side of it or the data part of it. So it can be internet lease line or SIP trunk or cloud telephony. There can be toll-free services. So those are essentially access part of the equation. On the application side, there can be an interactive website, there can be service ticket management or a full-fledged CRM, some kind of a payment gateway, and maybe customer feedback forms, etc. Because now we are meeting less customers, we are not having as many face-to-face interactions. So these kind of tools are applications are quite important so that we have our ears to the ground. Now, when we talk about these applications, all these applications can help businesses to be in touch with their customers, to improve their productivity, to enable remote working, to enable collaboration and teamwork. So a live chat is, if you have a website and if you don't have live chat, then it's like having a showroom where there is nobody to attend to the customers who walk in. Then help desk is a trouble ticket management system. CRM is a full-fledged 360-degree customer view. A online fee collector can help manage your subscriptions remotely. A hosted IVR can help you set up a distributed call center quickly. So agents, while working from home, can attend to their customer calls without revealing their mobile number. So these are certain applications that are really handy in current times. Now let's talk a bit about security. So cybersecurity is omnipresent in that sense that whether we are browsing internet or whether we are checking our emails or we are working from home, there is always a security aspect that is there. Now, in terms of cybersecurity, if you look at the market, then the massive digital transformation that is happening, and because of the current pandemic, we have leapfrogged the digital transformation journey. So that is also kind of necessitating the investments in cybersecurity. And also, India is the most one of the most cyber attacked countries, and regulatory norms are increasingly demanding that businesses have some sort of perimeter security, some cyber security postures to safeguard their interest and their customers' interest. These are some examples, and all these examples are in public domain, and all of them have faced a cyber attack in some form or fashion. And these are the examples that we know of. Cybersecurity or cyber attack is something that's kind of a thing that goes underreported because people generally don't come up and kind of say these things. In our communications, in our customer meetings, they would keep going round and round, asking different questions, but they will never share that they faced a cyber attack, and hence they are looking for cybersecurity options to help them. So all these organizations have faced that in recent times, and now the attacks that are happening are ransomware attacks, where they would lock your laptop and then they would want, say, 5,000 bitcoins to unlock it. They lock your company's server, they lock your CRM server, and then when you release the money, then they give back the control to you. So when we talk about the challenges on cybersecurity, then first and foremost is low awareness of emerging cybersecurity threats. When we talk about cybersecurity, it's always about virus and etc. But while the cyber criminals have moved up and the attacks are much more sophisticated now, and it's not always about any financial data. It can be about the production data, it can be about the cost price, it can be about the customer name, email ID, it can be about password. So there are many aspects to it, and there is also the reputation part of it. And then there is a shortage of qualified professionals who can set up a minimum security for any organization. And also there is an ongoing debate in terms of the cost-benefit analysis on cybersecurity. These are some of the examples that have been reported in news media in recent times after the lockdown. So we need some level of protection to protect us from these viruses. So if we talk about cybersecurity, then there can be security of the company applications, the endpoints or servers. And if you break the cybersecurity posture into products and services, then at one side there are set of products. So products can be about data security, endpoint security, email security, identity and access management like a multi-factor authentication, or network security, firewalls, etc. On the other side of it, there is the services part, that is consulting services on cybersecurity. What should be the correct posture for my organization given my unique requirements on cybersecurity? Who can come and implement them? What are the products that I can use from this top bucket? Then the testing part of it, if I am putting up a new website or application, is there somebody who can do vulnerability assessment? Then what about the operations in terms of managing the day-to-day life cycle of products in a company with respect to cybersecurity? And finally, the incident response. When something has happened, how do we do damage control? How do we quarantine that particular system? So those kind of incident response. So these are the services part of it. Services are expensive. It's a bespoke kind of a solution. Products are relatively easier to deploy, and if you have the right set of 2 or 3 products, then you're mostly covered. In terms of the products for cybersecurity, would like to propose 5 simple products that one can think about to get started on that. First is endpoint security. All of us are working remotely, and endpoint is the last point in a network. And that can be your smartphone, that can be your laptop, desktop, server. So it should have a good endpoint security in that, so that it can become the last line of defense. It's executable software that you can download with if you have admin permissions for your machine. Then email security. Email security works at the domain level, and when you set that up, everybody who is using that particular domain, all the emails are filtered. They are filtered for incoming traffic and as well as outgoing traffic, because on the incoming side of it, while you can look for malware Trojan phishing attacks. On the outgoing side of it, there is your reputation that is involved. It is your company's email ID, and if somebody is using that email ID to send something which is not right to, say, a group of 100 people, then your brand is also at stake. So it is also the outgoing as well as incoming. And also it can help set up certain content policies. For example, there is a university with about 1,000 students, and they are having this email ID provided by the university. Now, university would want to set some rules, like what kind of content can be shared within that user group. It may not necessarily be a malware, but it can be objectionable content. It can be hate speech. So all those filters should be there for the admin person in terms of email security. So the email is not only safe, but also secure. Then web security would come into play when we are going online. That can be clicking on a link, clicking on an ad, or visiting a website. So web security is a product that acts at the DNS level, and this can be in addition to an appliance-based firewall, because those firewalls are mostly reactive, while this is proactive, and it can ensure that whatever websites you are visiting are safe. Then virtual firewall, that's a product just like an appliance-based firewall, only that it's much more advanced. It has 100% UI-based interface. It can work at application level, not only at the packet level, and it is not dependent on the users. So it generally works at the bandwidth level. So so even when you increase your users or decrease your users, you don't need to change that, and you kind of get out of that continuous hardware upgrade cycle when you're having a hardware-based firewall. Last product is multi-factor authentication, and as it is reported that most of the attacks are a result of a compromised identity, and only username and password is just not enough, and it is recommended to have a second level of authentication, and that can be through this multi-factor authentication. You can set up policies like my staff will be able to access company servers only through his or her laptop, or if the iOS version is less than this, then I'll not allow access to my servers. So all those rules can be set, and there can be a soft push that can be sent on a second device, and hence it kind of enhances the cybersecurity posture of the organizations. Working remotely, you may want to consider these cybersecurity products and these applications that we talked about in last few minutes. So that's all that I wanted to share, friends.